Okay, everybody. So the goal here right now is to walk you through how to do some assembly constraints. And we're going to be looking at exercise 6-1, assembling parts, which is on page 286 in the textbook. So the first thing it asks you to do is to open this particular assembly. This is called a lifting mechanism, and we're going to work with this. Now, one of the things that you need to do with assemblies is you need to fully constrain objects most frequently. Okay, and how you go about doing that is you can turn on a setting that will show you the good, or not good, but rather the setting will show you the degrees of freedom that two parts that are put together have, so that you can limit those as you go along. So I've got this assembly open. This was step number 1. There is one thing I want to do that is not done in the instructions in the book, but with this part, it tends to make it a little bit easier, I think. And that is this post, this blue post right here. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to select the word grounded. What that means now is I'm going to put my cursor on here, and I can't rotate it, I can't move it up and down, none of that stuff. I could do that before, and it's a pain in the neck with this assembly to have that happen. I'll probably need to unground it shortly, but I'm just beginning here. All right, so I'm going to turn on the degrees of freedom. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the word view, and I'm going to click on that, and then in the visibility tab there is degrees of freedom right there, and you can see that it has added degrees of freedom to in particular these two turnbuckles, a small one and this larger one. This guy does not have any degrees of freedom on it, except for this rotational one right here. And the reason for that is because I grounded it. When I unground it, the degrees of freedom will return with that. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so that I can see the top of this buckle and also this arm bracket. I'll call it that this time around. I'll probably change my name on that, or the name on that, a few times. I'm going to bring this buckle closer to the arm that's coming off the edge of this thing, and I just clicked on it and dragged it down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is tell you right now that if you have a hole that's been created in something, it has an axis running through it, even though that axis isn't visible. So I'm going to go back to assembly right here, and I'm going to click on the constrain tool, and there are multiple different constrain tools here. We have mate, we have angle, this one is for tangency, this is for insert, and this is for symmetry. Honest God, I have never used the symmetry one. Probably is opportunities that I should have used it, but I didn't. So right now we're going to do this mate constraint. So I'm going to click on that. Now it doesn't matter which one of these two things you do the following step to, but it will, so it'll work the same either way. The inside of these holes, I'm going to just put my cursor on one of them, and you're going to see a center line appear here. Okay, and I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to go up to this guy, and the same thing is going to happen when I touch the center of this one. Now, let's see. Oops, that's not what I want. This is what I want. I'm just going to go to the cube and kind of spin this a little bit so that when I touch this one, you can see that the center line appeared. And it just popped into this arm tab. And I don't think I have to do anything else because I want to make sure just that this middle box is lit, and it automatically was for me. You may have to change and click that align button. I'm going to hit apply. Okay. Now I'll cancel this. You don't have to cancel it, but I want to show you something. Okay, I'll orbit this around so that I can see it. And right now, what this is going to show me is that this part of this little sleeve, okay, connector and sleeve, this is the connector and the sleeve is down here on the bottom, that this is interfering in the middle of this. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times, and I'm going to click, and I'm just going to pull this off to the right. You can pull it to the right, you can pull it to the left. Okay. Now the center lines are keeping these two things lined up. So we're going to use the rotate tool here a couple times. So I'm going to just zoom out with that. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to do another constraint. This is a mate, and this time I'll do the origin rotation here, and I'll hit escape one time. I'm going to click on this flat surface right here, okay, and then I'll zoom out and I'll do my orbit again, and I'm going to click and press escape one time, and I'm going to click on this inner surface, and what you're going to see, there's an X with an arrow coming out pointing at the buckle, and I'm going to click on that, and there we go. So I'm going to hit apply. Now if you take a look at the degrees of freedom, you're going to see that 2 out of the 3 of them have disappeared. The third one is right here, and that's a rotational one, which we're going to leave alone. So I'm just going to cancel this for right now, okay? And then I'll go back to my isometric view. Actually, the house is the isometric view. So there we go. So that's the first part of putting this thing together.